Hi everyone, I'm Clementine Svetanov, and tonight is my real pleasure to have you all for this live with Peter Felsmann, Insight Facilitator for Inside Cyprus. So I am the organizer with my husband, Krasimir Tsvetanov, for Cyprus. And tonight we're all very excited to have you all. Thank you all for joining us. I heard that we're going to have people from Israel, from England, from Bulgaria, from US, from Mexico, so welcome you all. We're all very excited about the coming up event, Insight Seminar in Cyprus. This for the first time in Cyprus. It will take place at the Capetanios Hotel in Limassol, and it will be from the 1st to the 4th, and I hope to see you there. This is going to be an amazing event, and so if you can type from which city you're coming from so I can see who is watching. That's great. Hi Isra, I see. Tonight, during this webinar, we will be talking about the secrets of universal success. And you will have the opportunity to meet Peter and asking also your question on the chat box. At the moment, Peter is doing a series of seminars in Europe, in London, Varna, in Sofia. So introduce you to Peter. And during I'm introducing Peter, if you could just write a few comments so we can see that you're here. And so, hi Peter, how are you?
Hey, so excited. I want everybody to know that we've been rehearsing for this, and literally 3 minutes before it was time to begin, the link fell down, changing computer thing around. It's life happens like that, and I guess the important thing is how we respond. So thank you for having me, Clementine.
Thank you for doing this for us also.
And it's so to see everybody logging in. Ashley and people from a lot of people from Latin America. I hope your English is good because this presentation is going to be in English.
Yes, we'll try. So Peter, so you're a productivity coach. You are also a business consultant for a huge company. You have over 28 years of experience facilitating Insight seminars. What do you think is the key of your universal success, of your success in life?
I think the key is tenacity, persistence. One of the hardest things to do for people is to get clear on what they want. And so I think a key for success in general in life is to identify what it is that we truly want, because what I've found is that most people don't really know what they want. They kind of want what their parents want from them, what society expects from them, what's supposed to be their goals and the things they want for success. But once you get a clear idea, a clear image of what it is that you want, then the next thing is to go for it. You know, one of the tools that we learn in Insight is how the universe rewards action, not thinking. And one of the things that happens a lot in the world is that people are afraid to make mistakes. So they live their life, instead of living their life out in their life, they live life in their head because they want to analyze everything, because they want to avoid making mistakes. And of course, nobody enjoys making mistakes. But when you try to overanalyze everything, then you're stuck. You're really, really, really stuck, and nothing happens. So that's a big problem for many, many people. So once you have your clear vision, is to be tenacious and going for what it is that you want. Being patient, having grit, when you lose hope, keep going, even though you don't have hope. Doubts is part of the process. Doubt is part of my life. Doubting myself is part of my life, because my life, a lot of it is really going for what I want and expanding and stretching and growing. So, for example, the first time I was hired to coach a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, I was like, oh my gosh, do I have anything to offer this person? I've coached more than one billionaire, and so doubting myself is part of the process. So the question isn't, don't have doubt. Most people think, well, I have doubt, so I'm going to wait until I feel safe and secure, and then I'm going to act and take the risk. And it doesn't work that way. It works the other way around. You have to feel the doubt and still go for what it is that you want, even though you're in the middle of your doubt. I've doubted myself thousands of times. Um, and the times in my life, there's been times when the doubt won, you know, but the wins that I've had in my life, the creation of the life that I love, because the life I have is a life that I love, it's because I've gone for what I wanted. And I've gone through it. I've gone through the fear. I've gone through the uncertainty and the doubt, and been very tenacious in achieving it, and listening to the feedback of what works, what doesn't work, and course correcting. Okay?
Yes. Okay. So, want also to ask you what universal success means actually for you.
Yes, that's the thing, because universal success, that theme, that name, I don't think there's such a thing as a universal success, because it's a very personal thing for each one of us. What it is that defines success for me might be very different what defines success for you. We're conditioned to think that success is an outward thing, that success is about having money, about having power, about having sex, or things like this. And in reality, success, I think, could be simply stated as living a life that you love. Having a life that you love, whether it includes the outer things like money and power and things like that, but especially having the experience, because I'm sure that you people that are watching know people that have a lot of money or are very powerful but are very unhappy or very sad. Uh, one of my friends, he started out being my client. He's been a multimillionaire several times in his life. He brought a certain credit card to Africa for the first time. A very successful man, but he was suicidal. He was considering suicide for most of his life. Uh, and that isn't success. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank account if you're thinking your life is meaningless. Now, fortunately, this friend, uh, he had a deep shift in his mindset and in his heart, and now he's living the life he loves. And he's not going after the money. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with money. There's nothing wrong with power or fancy cars or anything like that. But I think that if it's not accompanied with an experience of joy, of peacefulness, of health, then it's not very significant, in my opinion. I think also universal success has to do with the process of transforming ourselves as we go towards what we want. So it becomes kind of it's more about the journey than the destination. And it's the journey that transforms us, and that's when we experience success. I believe that that's why someone like Elon Musk or, these multimillionaires, that's why it's not about the money for them anymore. It's about doing things that are meaningful in their lives and creating and having impact and creating a legacy. Okay?
The inner satisfaction also, like.
Yes, the inner satisfaction.
Mm-hmm. So, in what actually awakening and opening your heart is the key to increase the success in life?
Mm-hmm. Well, let me talk a little bit about insight seminars first, but before that, I'd like to know, those of you that are listening, how many of you have taken insight before? Please write, and where you took insight. and maybe if you remember when you took Insight. So if you've taken Insight, just write in the comments when and where you took Insight. If anybody's writing. Nobody's writing.
They're not writing yet.
All right. Okay. So Insight Seminars is a process. It's a very repeatable process. It started in 1978. We began, so this year, it's actually our 40th anniversary. We started in January of 1978, and over a million and a half people have taken Insight all over the world. Personally, I have given Insight seminars in Punta Arenas in the southern tip of Chile, close to the South Pole, and I've also gone to Omsk in Siberia, close to the North Pole. We've given it in 30 countries and in 17 languages. This live event is an example of that, with your fantastic French accent and your husband's accent and my accent, and people from Latin America listening. There's people from Colombia and Mexico and other places, and Carlos Arguetas in El Salvador. Alex Balaza, nice to see you there. So, so what Insight does is that it's I believe it's a perfectly designed process to help people gain an experience of themselves as an authentic being. And we call this the awakening heart. So I wanted to give that context because your question is about how opening and awakening your heart is a key to increasing success in life. So if we tie it into what I said earlier, that success is not necessarily measured only by what's going on outside of you, in terms of your money or your romance or different areas in your life, but rather about the experience that you're having in your life, then having an awakened heart is crucial. It's crucial to experiencing success. Awakening heart is a natural result of becoming aware. So when we become aware of our automatic patterns and the consequences and the prices we pay and what alternatives we have, then we become accountable. Okay? So we have awareness, we have accountability, and then when we are aware and accountable, we can make choices that are more effective in bringing us the things that we want in life. So then we have awareness, accountability, action. And these keys are you can't have success if you don't have that. You need to be aware. You need to be willing to own your life, to own the consequences of your life, so that you can make better choices in your life. Will naturally bring about greater success in any area. Maybe it's in your profession, maybe it's in your finances or your romance, maybe in your family. Some of you listening maybe have painful relationships with your family members, or maybe you don't have a spouse or a romantic partner. Okay, so these keys are crucial for creating success any area in your life that you may be in.
Yeah, absolutely. So you already say a little bit what are the secrets. So to bring more abundance and more money, it's like by having this feeling of yourself and being like the creator of your life, you naturally also bring more abundance into your life, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And abundance means everything. It means abundance of loving, abundance of finance, of experiences, of health. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit what is the difference of Insight with other seminars? Like, because some people are wondering how 4 days of seminar can really make a difference with all of, like maybe sometime 28 years, sometime even more poor habits and self-image, how they can actually make a difference.
Yes. So first thing I want to say is that there are other seminars out there, and personally, I see myself like a scientist. I'm always exploring. I always try to find seminars and courses that will bring me value. So I'm actively participating out in the market and seeing what's out there. And I've found a couple that are good, you know, that I would recommend. Uh, Most are okay. You know, they have good things in some weak areas, or they're really good about one specific area. There's a few that are, I would recommend people to stay away from them and not get involved with those. And specifically, those are the ones that use coercion and manipulation, and that want you to enroll other people, and then they use pressure to get you to bring new people to the seminar. So I would stay away from those. Um, but what I found out there is that there's a couple of things. There's a couple of distinctions between Insight and other seminars that I've seen out in the market. One distinction is that most seminars out there, even the really good ones, have to do with mental concepts. So that they mostly work on the mind area. And, you know, like I said, some of those are really good, and they do good work with that. And when I say the mind, I don't mean the belief systems. I mean, they give you context, which ties into the second thing, is that most seminars out there are teaching people how to do things. So they're about doing. They're how-to seminars, you know. The good ones also address the belief systems and go into more of the unconscious patterns. But what Insight does in a way that I've never seen, even in the really good seminars out there, is that it allows people to have an experience in their body, in their bones, not as a concept, but actual as a real life experience of the precepts that we teach. One of the philosophers that I've read a lot, his name is Ken Wilber, and he talks about different practices. He says that there are transformational practices and there are informational practices. And most of the stuff that's out there is informational. And it's good information, and it's comfortable, because by getting information, we don't have to transform. We don't have to change. We can stay in our comfort zone. And what Insight does in a very graceful, fun, and natural way is that it provides people for an opportunity to experience a transformation of their self. And we do this through different ways. We have lectures, facilitators, concepts, but then the real magic happens during processes that you do with other people, during games, guided meditations, and things like this. So every day of the seminar builds on the previous days. So it's a very sequential process that naturally brings you to this awakening of the heart. You know, and the best way that I know how to do it is through Insight. Did I answer your question, Clementine?
Yes, you did. Yes. For me, this was also very, really helped me. I used to be very fearful about what others will think about me, or talking in public. And during this experience in Insight One, I realized first that I'm not going to die, that it was fine, I can breathe. And I also experienced that I am the creator of my life, and I reclaim my power, and that I can do it. And I think once you have experienced this in your body, in your cells, there's no way back. You
No
know
going back.
that yes.
Yeah.
You can have doubt, but you are just recall of this memory. That's what's happened there. And
Yeah.
now I'm just taking action. So now I'm able to do live, like I just do now. I'm able to do lectures, and this really helped me, yes, in my life, is going after my dreams, yes.
How long ago? When did you take Insight?
Insight One, I take it, maybe it was 1 year and maybe 3 months, because I was pregnant at that time. Yes. It was. Sorry?
An Insight baby.
What?
An insight baby. Your baby is
An
an insight.
inside, yes, yes, yes. And yes, I was pregnant, so and then after I take inside two, once I give birth afterwards, and inside two is maybe 7 months, no, 6, 7 months that I did inside two, and yes, it was at that point I was excited to talk.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So,
Yes.
so if somebody would have told you a year and a half ago that you would be doing Facebook events and speaking in public, it would have seemed impossible.
Yes, yes. Uh,
Good.
I
Fantastic.
was just, procrastinating over and over and was not taking action in this.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Fear of being judged is one of the biggest things keeping people from living a life that they love. There's nothing wrong with being liked by other people, but most of us grow up thinking that our job in life is to please others, and that the price we pay is very high. The price we pay is that we limit our freedom, we limit our capacity to just be authentic, and without authenticity, without that inner guidance, that ability to choose our life, it's impossible to have a life you love, and it's impossible to be successful.
Yes. So I have a question also. There is some people that thinking that inside seminar 4 days it's a little bit too much for them. They're too busy. What would you say to them for this?
I would say you need to take care of yourself first. Um, you know, how can it be that you're too busy to take care of yourself for 3.5 days? You spend how many hours a month watching TV, on Facebook, uh, you know, uh, web surfing, doing things that add no value to you, reading the newspaper, watching the news, which is really bad idea, you know, and and giving yourself the time is really important. I mean, I think that insight is key for those people that know that there's something more out of life that they're not getting, and they don't know how to get it. If that resonates for you, then insight is for you. Um, if you got everything figured out and you're 100% happy and blah blah blah, then insight is not for you. Insight, if you're too busy to take care of yourself, then insight is not for you. Insight is for you if you are willing to invest in yourself. Basically that's it.
Yeah, it's a gift to yourself.
It's a gift. It's a gift to yourself. I mean, insight, as I mentioned earlier, I know a lot. I mean, of the things that are out there in the market, insight is hands down, without a doubt, the most effective, powerful way to get the most value in the least amount of time and for the least amount of money. I mean, no doubt, no question. Uh, you know, that's why we have a guarantee, 100% guarantee. If you finish the seminar and it doesn't fulfill the promise, then you get your money back. You know, and I like to do the double money back guarantee. And this is my Peter Felsmann double money back guarantee. And this is for those of you listening to this or watching this, even if it's recorded and watching it later. If you take this seminar in November in Cyprus, in Limassol, and if it's not an amazing experience, you'll get your money back from Insight, and I'll also pay you out of my own pocket whatever it is that you paid for the seminar. And nobody does this, by the way. There's nobody on the planet does a double money back guarantee. And the reason why I offer this double money back guarantee is because I understand that it may seem too good to be true. How is it possible that in 3.5 days to have this experience? And I just want to remove any objections you may have. I want to make it real easy for people to take the risk and invest the time, invest the money, and give themselves this gift.
Thank you, Peter. I would just ask people if they can write, if they have any question now. And
Yes.
I'm going to give now the mic to my
Yes.
husband so he can share also his experience, how Insight actually improve his standard, his
Yes.
abundance. So
Yes.
yes. So if you can just write question, if you have any question about the seminar, please just write in the chat box down. Okay, thank you very much.
So if you have any questions you'd like to ask me, write in the chat in Bulgarian or in English or in Spanish.
So hello everyone.
We can't hear you very well.
Now it's better. Sorry, I supposed to be the technical guy. As you see, I screwed up.
Yes.
I'm really sorry. They will cut from my salary. So what is Insight for me? To be honest, I've been to many seminars. I'm the guy with the big ego. I know everything. I always advise the people what to do, how to do. But I was never moving forward. I was just the guy who was talking, not walking. And I've been to many famous seminars around the world. And since I went to Insight, I came with my big ego inside the hall, and I say, okay, let's see what these people will show me, because I know everything. I know everything, but it was on my old job, which, to be honest, I didn't have the satisfaction. And I was going every day. Even I was listening my motivational speeches in the car, like, you can do it, man. And since I go to work, some inner voice was telling me, you can do what? So now go back to your old yourself. And when I went to Insight One, on the second day, I knew already in myself that I want to go to Insight 4. And really, this is the seminar changed my life. Make my life better. I have my lovely wife who saved me when I have problems like now. So she jumped in front of the camera because of me. And I have my lovely daughter. I increased my financial standard 5 times since I joined the Insight. And Insight actually for me is not just the seminar, it's a way of living. I have so much friends, and actually they call us organizers in Insight for Cyprus, but we are having support from all over the world, from Bulgaria, from United States, from Latin America, from all the friends, from Nigeria, from England. So my experience is a loving environment, and there's so much inside.
Mm-hmm. Great. So did you say your income increased 5 times?
Yes.
How? Tell us.
Okay. I start to believe more in myself. I mean, I was not already the guy who is just talking. I was the guy who is walking. And even if I'm afraid, of course I'm afraid. I'm a human being. I'm afraid, and I'm walking again and again and again. So, but now I trust much more to myself with everything I do. And this is the way. I'm not afraid about these things now, because I know I can trust myself. Insight show me how I can go and trust more myself.
Great. That's great. Thank you, Gracia.
Welcome. So I will give you again the most. She's much more beautiful than me. So we'll go back to her. And for me, I'm the guy here from the other side. If you have a comments, I just write the comments and I give to her. So I love you, and I'm going backstage.
Thank you.
So we have now some questions.
So Clementine, you are more beautiful,
We
but he's pretty cute too. But he's pretty cute with his.
yes. So we have some question for you. So from Ashley Hernandez asking, as the inside training, how the inside training evolve with time? As the inside training evolve with time? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we started experimenting with different some ways to make it more modern and more adapted to the modern world. Okay. And I would say that the main innovation or change has been the format. So before it used to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday evening, all day Saturday and Sunday. And now in Cyprus, we're going to have Thursday evening. In different countries, we do it in different ways. But basically, it just has to do with the format. We do Thursday evening, all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And in some countries, we have Thursday and Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, and then in some countries we have all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Other than that, the exercises have pretty much stayed the same because insight is not about what's fashionable. It's about what works, and what works with human beings keeps on working. One of the interesting things that I've noticed over the years is that with the internet and Facebook and TED Talks and things like this, a lot of the concepts that were originally made massively available through Insight are now commonplace. Things like win-win or limiting beliefs, things like that. And people fall into a trap, I find, that they think that just because they heard something that they really understand it. It's like, oh yeah, I know that. Oh, you know win-win, but do you do win-win in your life really? You do win-win with your clients and with your wife and with your children. Understand? Yeah. So, and Ashley, nice to see you online. Maria, I can read the questions also. Maria's question?
Yes. In case when something did not come up as expected, especially in business, how do you recover and move on? Mentally speaking, how do you overcome the fail?
Yes. Well, you need to forgive yourself, Maria. Can you forgive yourself? Can you forgive yourself for making a mistake? Because that's going to be key. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck in what happened in the past. And making mistakes is a part of business. It's the main part of business. That's why so many businesses don't survive 5 years. So as a business coach, I would say you want to make many small, cheap mistakes, as many as you can. Cheap and course correct as quickly as possible. Now, as a person invested a lot, and you invested a lot of energy and a lot of money and a lot of heart into your business, and it failed. So you have a broken heart, and you treat it the way you do any broken heart. You give it time. You be gentle with yourself. You forgive yourself. Think about what worked, what didn't work, and what can you do differently. And then keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And again, the key is to make small, many cheap mistakes instead of one big catastrophic one. Okay?
From Jad Nassif, what help can insight give to a leader, personality, and a very self-confident character?
Wow, so much. It's going to open a whole different dimension that you probably didn't even know that was available to you. When people have very developed intellect, when people are very intelligent, sometimes what happens, and this has happened to me as well, is that they become too smart for their own good. Like Krasi was saying earlier, it's like, oh, I know it all. What can they offer to me? And this leader personality, this leader way of being, when your heart is awakened, it just takes it to a whole different level, a whole different dimension. Um, and the fact that you're a leader, see, Insight offers so many tools. There's at least 120, 150 specific tools, any one of which can transform a person's life. But not everybody needs all of the tools. So I think that somebody that's been shy and maybe doubting themselves, by taking Insight, they may learn to be more self-confident and take action and talk less and walk more. But for people that are leaders and very extroverted and like this, Insight can teach them how to be softer, gentler with themselves, gentler with others, how to look at the areas of their life where they've been stuck or maybe not as developed. I think that's the value.
Asen Angelov asking how to keep Insight energy high.
That's a good question. You have to stay in the energy. You have to do it and keep doing it. So you have to do those things that elevate your energy. You have to be with people that elevate your energy. You have to keep working yourself. Eventually, it becomes a part of your comfort zone. There's a very famous book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the habits, the last one, number 7, is to keep the saw sharp, or sharpen the saw. So you have to keep yourself sharp. You have to invest in yourself. So for example, just to give you some examples, every year I take at least one seminar. Most of the time I take more than one seminar. One of the benefits and things I love about Insight is that I get a benefit from facilitating it. So you have to be around people that are going in the same direction that you are. You have to keep on doing what works, which has to do with stepping outside of your comfort zone and keep working on yourself.
Yes. So for the moment, we don't have other question. So I don't know if you want to say something, Peter, more, something about Insight.
The ground rules of Insight. The ground rules of Insight are very good rules for life in general, not just for Insight. And I think that these rules are something that if people really, really apply them to their own life, their life will become so much better, and gradually, and it helps us go through the difficult parts of life as well. And the first one is take care of yourself so you can help take care of others. So in most cultures, taking care of yourself is seen as selfish, as something negative. Most people, please raise your hand or write something if you feel guilty when you're taking care of yourself. But taking care of yourself is indispensable. You need to take care of yourself so that you can then help take care of others. So there's 2 keys there. One is take care of yourself, and then make sure that part of your life has to do with taking care of others, because that's what gives meaning and richness to our life. The second ground rule is don't hurt yourself and don't hurt others. And there's so many ways that we hurt ourselves, and most of them have to do with self-judgment and with being very hard on ourselves. So learning how to be gentle with ourselves is a big, big key. And then the third one is use everything for your advancement, growth, and learning. Use everything that happens in your life so that you can, little by little, become closer to the kind of life that you love.
Yes. We're having another question now from Blagovesta Cravella. So what is your advice if you are aware you have a limiting belief but it's not enough to make it go away?
Yeah, what I mentioned earlier in this webinar, you need to have a clear image of what you want. You keep taking action. and you keep course correcting, and you go for what you want, and you move through the doubt, and you move through the mess ups, and you make mistakes, and you listen to the feedback, and you course correct, and you keep moving, and that's it. Keep going for what you want. Often, just knowing about a limiting belief isn't enough to get rid of it. You have to create the outcomes before you believe it. So, one of the things that has been wonderful for me personally in my personal life and also in my professional life is something called fake it till you make it. So you don't necessarily know what you're doing, but you act like you know what you're doing. And this has served me very well, very well. Okay, so if you still have that limiting belief, how would a person that doesn't have that limiting belief act? If you haven't taken Insight Blagovesta, I recommend you check it out. As they mentioned earlier, in October, I'm going to be facilitating seminars in Europe. I'm going to be in London and Sofia and Varna, as well as in Cyprus. So there you go. And if you've already taken Insight, I took Insight many, many times. I audited, I repeated the seminar many times, more than 10 times, because there's so much value and so many tools there. And where you were when you took Insight before is a different place than where you are now.
I have another question from Natalia.
Yes.
My daughter will attend the seminar in Cyprus and she's 16 years old. Your first seminar was when you were 16, if I'm not mistaken. What did he give it to you, and how important is it to attend this seminar for such a young age?
Oh, I can't imagine what my life would have been like if I hadn't come across Insight. I think I would probably have become an anarchist and gotten into trouble with the law because I was so angry at injustice, and I felt like a victim, and I saw other people as victims as well. So for me, having experienced Insight at 16 and giving the line of my life, because it's been 33 years since I took Insight. When I was 16 years old, and it's amazingly transformational. 2/3 of my life I've known Insight for over 2/3 of my life, and so I think the earlier the better. 16 is a great age because she's a teenager with all of the good stuff that teenagers experience that most of us know about, and we'll take good care of her. Thank you for trusting us, Natalia.
So also some person, they really want to attend the seminar, but they're not sure if that's going to bring them the value. So what would you say to this kind of person?
Say, look, the universe rewards action, not thinking about it. If anything that you've heard me say, or you've heard Clementine or Krasi say, resonates as something that you want, then go for it. The only risk is that you get double your money back. That's the only risk. But on the upside, maybe, what if it's really valuable? What if it transforms your life like it has for Clementine and for myself and for Krasi and other people? Okay? There's only one way to find out, is through going through it and experiencing it.
Yes. We are having also often this objection about I can't find this amount of money to go to the seminar. What would you say?
Well, I would say, and I understand. I would say that if your intention is clear, the method will appear. I would talk to the organizers and see if you can arrange something. My opinion is that's what credit cards. That's a good thing that credit cards can be used for, is to invest in yourself and your own self-development. And if you think about what you're spending your money on, how much of that is really giving you lasting value? Most of it is superficial. A couple months ago, I met a nurse, and she works double shifts so that she can pay her fancy car. And I'm like, and she never gets to drive it because she's working to pay off the car. And trust me, uh, €300 is such a good deal. It's such a good deal. And my understanding is that there's a special price uh, for the next 4 days. Can you expect about share with us about that, please?
Yes, tonight, if there is any people interested about the seminar, it will be very great if you can write under, and we can contact you because we're offering a special price of €250 until the end of the month. So if you like to get this offer, this is the opportunity tonight.
I see a question from.
Sorry?
There's a question from Nikos.
Yes.
So I've
Yes.
facilitated seminars in South America, in Brazil, in the United States, in the UK, in Russia, Bulgaria, Israel, and one of the. So culturally, people are different. I find that in some countries people are more analytical, and they approach the seminar from their brain, just trying to analyze everything, very cerebral. And in other places, people are more relaxed and partying, let's say, places like Venezuela. So yes, there are culturally different, but everybody experiences in the awakening heart in a very similar way, and it affects them differently. People that tend to be very analytical tend to become more open and more free, and people that are undisciplined learn to take better care of themselves and be more disciplined.
Yeah, we've got another question now from Asen Angelov. Do you try to help somebody to be better if they don't want it, but you see potential in them?
Yeah. Well, there's a saying from the Bible. It says, "Don't throw pearl before swine." Okay. In Spanish, it's don't throw daisies in front of pigs, because they're not going to appreciate the beauty. They're gonna, it's gonna be wasted energy. So I think, Asen, you let them know what you see, and you make yourself available, and then you remind them every so often. But don't make your life about rescuing people, because that's a good way to get into trouble. Okay? Let the firefighters and be the rescuers. You don't have to be rescuing people.
Okay, so now we don't have other question at the moment. So I think we can conclude about the seminar. What do you think about the webinar tonight? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think that is a good. It's a good. I want to thank you, Clementine and Gracie, for organizing this. I want to thank all of you that are listening, that are watching. Many blessings to you. I'm very touched to see people from Mexico and South America and Holland and Bulgaria and everywhere. I look forward to seeing you in person in Cyprus or in London or in Bulgaria or anywhere. I will be facilitating, yes, Ashley, I will be facilitating the upcoming seminars in London, which is, let me take a look at the dates here. I'll be in London facilitating October 12th, 13th, and 14th, in Sofia on the 19th, 20th, and 21st of October, in Varna on the 26th, 27th, and 28th, and of course in Limassol, Hotel Capitainos on November 1st through November 4th. Okay, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It'll be excellent. I'm traveling with my family, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
We're looking for it. Thank you very much, Peter, for your time tonight. Thank you for all this value you give also tonight to our listeners.
Thank you.
And thank you all also for joining us on the call.
Yes. Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you.
Games. I love you. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Gracias. Thank you.
Bye.
Tomorrow.